Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Right now at 5, the man who admitted to shooting a supporter of President Trump when right and left-wing protesters clashed in Portland is himself shot and killed by police. And now fears are rising over what could happen during Labor Day weekend rallies.
A frantic search for survivors is underway in Beirut after signs of life were detected underneath piles of debris 1 month after the blast.
And officials in our county and neighboring ones fear the heat will drive residents to dangerous lengths to keep cool this Labor Day weekend. Their message on this Friday, September 4th, 2020. Good morning, it's 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen along with Alex Fisher, and we are headed for an extreme heat wave this weekend. It's going to be a little dangerous outside, and then we also have to think about what we're doing inside with conserving energy. Yeah, it's going to be something that we're going to have to watch closely, not just for Kern County, but all of California as the heat is really about to turn on. Let's turn things over to Kevin Charette, who has a look at your holiday forecast, and boy, it's going to be a hot one.
It is going to be hot as we head into tomorrow. Yesterday wasn't bad. We hit a high of 95 degrees. Today, I don't think we'll hit the century mark again, so that's good news, but that all changes heading into the weekend. Let's show you the watches and warnings and what we have going on right now. We definitely have the air quality alert in place. That has not changed for us, and that will be around until the early part of next week. So if you can, stay indoors as much as you possibly can. Now, we've got a temperature of 74 degrees out there right now, light wind out of the south-southeast at 3. Visibility this morning, again, right about 7 miles. Here's a look at the hour-by-hour forecast, and you can see we start out in those 70s, and then this afternoon we'll be back into those mid to upper 90s here in the valley. 57 degrees out of Tehachapi right now, no winds to talk about. And the one thing you're going to notice here are the mountain temperatures are going to be on track with the valley temperatures today. And you can see mid 90s out of the Tehachapi area, and then we're back into the 80s right around 5 p.m. We'll talk much more about our weekend weather and the big warm-up coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Kevin. And as we head into this hot weekend, Governor Gavin Newsom has signed an emergency proclamation in a bid to keep the lights on for Californians. It comes as the state's grid operator issued a flex alert for the holiday weekend due to the extreme heat. PG&E is urging everyone to conserve energy so there's enough supply to meet demand for electricity. And the governor's proclamation allows power plants to generate more power by suspending certain permitting requirements. Here are some tips to conserve. Adjust your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher. Avoid using electrical appliances and devices during the flex alert. Don't open your fridge too often because it's a major user of electricity in most homes. And set your pool pump to run overnight instead of during the day. You can find a full list of tips on our website, kget.com. And that proclamation comes as the governor also announces an extension of consumer protections in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Governor Newsom signed an executive order last night that protects against price gouging through March 4th. Under the order, sellers are not allowed to raise prices on food, consumer goods, medical or emergency supplies, or any other items more than 10%. Now to local coronavirus numbers. Public Health announced 161 new cases and 2 more deaths yesterday. Nearly 30,000 people have tested positive since the pandemic started. More than 1,300 are isolated at home. 183 are being treated at local hospitals. 294 people have died.
In world news, we want to take you out live to show you rescuers frantically searching for survivors after that horrific explosion in Beirut last month. This morning, crews say there are signs of life under the rubble. Now, you may remember the harrowing pictures of that explosion. Today marks exactly 1 month since the area was severely damaged by the blast. It happened at the Beirut port and sent shockwaves through the capital. The blast could be heard as far away as nearly 150 miles. At least 200 people are dead and some 6,000 were hurt. We're waiting for more information on an officer-involved shooting that left a man dead in eastern Kern County. Sheriff's officials say it all started just before 7 a.m. yesterday. Deputies received reports of a man with a gun walking along Highway 14 near Red Rock Randsburg Road. And when deputies arrived, they say a man got out of a car and brandished a gun at deputies. The sheriff's office says that's when the deputy opened fire. And we have audio from Broadcastify of the moment the shooting happened.
Control 1 to be on cooperative. Just stop my location.
10-4, 733 on the patch, 733 on the patch for Ridge 9 uncooperative subject, possibly armed. Set up and Bergen 14.
Go on, he's 9, code.
Copy 998.
That suspect died and the deputy was not hurt. Detectives say they found a shotgun with the suspect. No further details have been released. The deputy was placed on routine administrative leave pending the outcome of an investigation.
A woman's dead after drowning in a swimming pool in northwest Bakersfield. The sheriff's office says it happened Tuesday afternoon at a home on Dean Avenue west of Fruitvale Junior High School. That's where they found 63-year-old Mary Wilson unresponsive in the pool. She was taken to the hospital but died yesterday.
Officers seized more than $500,000 worth of illegal marijuana products during a pot bust. The Bureau of Cannabis Control served a warrant yesterday at an unlicensed dispensary known as Bakersfield's Best 20 Cap on Stockdale Highway near McDonald Way. They found cannabis flowers and concentrates plus an illegal gun. They did not release any more information on arrests.
5:06 now. Bakersfield police are looking to help prevent pedestrian injuries and deaths this month, stepping up enforcement on the roads. By our account, 16 pedestrians have been killed this year. Throughout September, officers will be looking for drivers who are speeding, making illegal turns, failing to yield, and other traffic violations. Over the past 10 years, BPD said the number of pedestrians killed or hurt on California roads has gone up dramatically, accounting for nearly 25% of all deaths on the road. Police say, though they are focused on drivers, fault lies with pedestrians not taking proper precautions as well.
It's pretty common that it's the pedestrians at fault, not the car. So outside of a crosswalk, not in an intersection, things like that, pedestrian not paying attention, literally running out into the roadway.
In addition to ditching the distractions, pedestrians are asked to always use marked crosswalks, make eye contact, and nod or wave at drivers to let them know you see them, and be extra careful at night. As police step up their operations, the California Highway Patrol says Labor Day weekend is a maximum enforcement period. That means more officers on the roads looking for drunk drivers, people without their seatbelts, and distracted drivers. Last year, during the Labor Day holiday weekend, 45 people were killed in crashes across California. CHP made more than 1,000 DUI arrests during the 78-hour enforcement period last year. And tomorrow, the CHP is asking parents to come out and get a free child car seat inspection by safety experts. They'll be checking that car seats are properly installed and if the size of your car seat or seatbelt is a good match for your child. Again, it's free, but the CHP requires you to make an appointment. It's happening 8 to 11 a.m. in the CHP office near Pumpkin Center. Call 396-6600 to schedule an appointment. And Golden Empire Transit will operate on a holiday schedule on Monday for Labor Day. That means get routes 47, 81, 82, 83, 84, and X92 will not be in operation. The ride service in Southwest Bakersfield will operate 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The downtown customer service center will remain open if you have questions.
As we come up on 19 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks, a local business is hoping you'll come out to honor victims and help out a good cause. Wickie's Wine, Dive, and Grill is hosting the 9/11 Memorial event. 50% of proceeds from food purchased at the grill will go toward the local firefighters burn foundation. It's all happening next Friday, September 11th, from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the restaurant on the corner of Ming and Buena Vista. In education news this morning, today marks the deadline to get in 2019-2020 FAFSA applications. The free application for federal student aid allows potential students the largest source of financial aid to pay for college or career schools. Earlier this week, we talked with Bakersfield College Financial Aid Director Jennifer Achen about the importance of getting your information submitted by the deadline. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion each year in grants, loans, and work-study funds. To complete the form, just go to fasfa.ed.gov. Local Cal State Bakersfield students are calling the university out on charging them more than $800 in services that they say aren't even available this semester due to distance learning restrictions.
There's charges on there that we don't even know what they are, and there's nothing even open. So I don't understand why we still have to pay these fees.
That's Anissa Robideau.
Many students are voicing confusion over fees they say are irrelevant now that the campus is closed to a majority of the students. These fees include health services, campus programming, and the Student Recreation Center. adding up to around $840. The university says the fees cover student programs and facilities that are now mostly available virtually. That includes over-the-phone counseling and at-home workout videos. CSUB says it is working to lessen the financial strain on students, but for now, the fees will stand.
A reminder, today, Saturday, and Sunday, you have a chance to pick up some sweet treats while supporting a good cause. Every year, Teen Challenge sells apple and peach dumplings and kettle corn at the Kern County Fair. But because of COVID-19, the fair, as we know it anyway, has been canceled. That's why Teen Challenge is inviting you to come by their center to get your fair food fix. Sales will help young people struggling with addiction. The Curbside Fair Food Frenzy will be every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through September 20th from 2 to 8 p.m. The center is located at 301 East Roberts Lane.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
It's now 5:20. We're back in your Business Watch. Millions of Americans are heading into the Labor Day weekend looking for jobs. Staffing agency TrueBlue has analyzed data from 1.5 million temporary and permanent job listings requiring either a high school diploma or a college degree. Postings for stockers and order fillers, laborers and freight movers, and industrial truck and tractor operators saw the most growth for jobs requiring a high school education. For jobs requiring a college degree, computer user support specialists, registered nurses, and human resources saw the biggest increase in listings month over month. Nearly 3/4 of American adults say they'll be helping Labor Day live up to its name, doing some work while on the road this weekend. That's according to a new survey conducted for a vacation rental search engine Home to Go. Workers are looking to go remote, with searches for rural destinations up 91% year over year. But modern conveniences like high-speed internet are a requirement. 66% of survey respondents tell Home to Go they plan to work remotely during any upcoming vacation. Remember the Tide Pod Challenge? Dangerous social media trends haven't gone away, and now they're linked to a growing number of injuries and even deaths. NBC's Liz McLaughlin has more.
Some challenges flip the switch for a few laughs. Some, like the Ice Bucket Challenge, promote a cause. But the Benadryl Challenge is the latest in a growing number of risky social media trends.
All of these recent challenges are incredibly dangerous.
First gaining traction on the app TikTok, the Benadryl Challenge encourages users to take multiple doses of allergy medicine to induce hallucinations.
Large doses of Benadryl can cause seizures and particularly problems with the heart.
Cook Children's Medical Center in Texas reported 3 hospitalizations last month related to the challenge. And one Oklahoma teen recently died of a Benadryl overdose. And then there's rooftoping, daredevil stunts that can sometimes lead to social media fame.
When those likes come in, it triggers a dopamine spike and a serotonin spike.
The quest for extreme selfies has killed nearly 300 people since 2011. And some life insurance companies are even offering kill fee policies.
The kids are upping the game, they're upping the stakes.
Social media networks say they're constantly working to catch dangerous trends and remove them from platforms. But the first step might be talking with your kids about the risks of these challenges.
Connect before you direct, or connect before you correct.
Simple conversations to remind aspiring influencers that no selfie is worth dying for. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Welcome back. The annual State of the City Conference is still slated to run this year despite the coronavirus pandemic, and you can watch it tomorrow right here on TV 17. We're hosting the virtual event this year featuring Bakersfield Mayor Karen Go and City Manager Christian Clegg. You're taking a look at video clips of this year's event. It is airing tomorrow night at 8 p.m. The 2020 State of the City will provide businesses with an update on the city's response to COVID-19, the city's budget, and efforts to improve the economy, community development, and public safety. This is sponsored by Dignity Health, Mercy, and Memorial Hospitals.
5:27 now. A local World War II veteran got a big surprise for his birthday, just a day after the 75th anniversary of the end of that war. Marvin Belcher turned 95 yesterday. The community came together last night to honor him with a parade outside his home near North High School. Dozens of people drove by to wish our local war hero a happy birthday. Belcher says his secret to longevity? Clean living.
I've worked hard all my life. I've hiked the Mount Whitney 7 times. I've played softball and handball and exercise, good nutrition. My wife's a vegetarian, and you can't live with a vegetarian without eating healthfully. But I got the knee problem.
Belcher's an Air Force veteran who flew 26 missions as a belly gunner on a B-17 during the war.
Well,
happy birthday, Marvin. Hot wherever you are. All right, thanks, Kev. 17 News is your local election headquarters. How many times should you vote? It's only legal to vote once, but President Trump is doubling down on telling voters to vote twice, once by mail and once in person to test the system. Tracy Potts has that, plus more from the campaign trail.
Good morning, Maddie. Good morning, everyone. The focus shifts today from voting and how you vote and how often you vote to the economy, with new numbers coming out this morning. Joe Biden is planning to react from Delaware. Nearby in battleground Pennsylvania, President Trump again called for Americans to vote twice, which is illegal.
You sign it and send it in, and then you have to follow it. And if on election day or early voting, that is not tabulated and counted, you go vote. You have to make sure your vote counts.
The White House explained.
Every vote should count, and every American should verify that their vote is counted.
North Carolina's absentee ballots go in the mail today, the first state to start voting. Election officials insist duplicates will be flagged at the polls. In Wisconsin, Biden met with Jacob Blake's family and spoke by phone to the man whose police shooting touched off riots.
He talked about how nothing was going to defeat him, how whether he walked again or not, he was not going to give up.
Attorney General William Barr suggesting the shooting was justified.
He was in the midst of committing a felony, and he was armed.
Things have calmed down in Kenosha, but the nation remains on edge with a presidential election in less than 60 days. Facebook says it's banning new political ads the week before the election, but analysts say that will not stop old ads or posts with misinformation from spreading as voters head to the polls. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
This is officers shoot and kill the Portland protester who himself shot and killed a counter-protester last week. Michael Noel was killed during an encounter with law enforcement officers. That's according to the U.S. Marshals. Sources say Noel was being investigated for the killing of an activist in Portland on Saturday. Officers were reportedly trying to apprehend him near the town of Lacey when he produced a gun, and officers fired, killing him at the scene. A task force says they were attempting to arrest Noel on a charge of murder.
There was a confrontation between the officers that were on scene and the subject. The information that we have at this time is that the subject was armed. There was shots that were fired into the vehicle, and the subject fled from the vehicle, at which time there was additional shots that were fired.
Noel appeared to admit that he was responsible for the deadly shooting of a supporter of a right-wing group during an interview broadcast last night by Vice News.
New national unemployment numbers just released a few minutes ago. Let's take a look at what they show. The U.S. created 1.37 million jobs last month versus a 1.32 million expected growth rate. Overall, unemployment has fallen to 8.4%. That's good compared to the 9.8% unemployment that was expected. And right now, Dow futures are heading up after the unemployment rate fell more than expected. Dow futures up 52 so far this morning, so we'll check when they do open up later this morning. Millions of Californians stuck in limbo with the unemployment department may soon get some much-needed help. Last night, lawmakers in Sacramento approved an emergency audit of the Employment Development Department. The request for the audit comes from Bakersfield Assemblyman Rudy Salas, who says he's concerned about the huge backlog of unemployment insurance claims.
Why are we still seeing backlogs? Why are we still having people that are calling our offices and saying, look, I've been on hold for hours, and when I do get on, sometimes the call drops or the person on the other end of the line is not able to help me. We need to make sure that those dollars are being spent efficiently, effectively, and making sure that at the end of the day, that our constituents, that Californians are getting the help that they need.
The governor has said he expects the backlog to be cleared by the end of the month.
As we enter Labor Day weekend, the State Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control says it is cracking down on illegal sales to minors. Agents will be out and about throughout the holiday enforcing the state's alcoholic beverage laws. Agents will visit ABC licensed businesses to make sure they're not selling to anyone under the age of 21. The department also reminds businesses to make sure employees are wearing a face covering and to continue to practice social distancing measures.
5:36 is your time now as heat wave number 7 hits just in time for the holiday weekend. Many Kern County residents are expected to make their way to the river or take a trip to the Central Coast. But as 17's Taylor Schaub explains, there are many health and safety risks involved with large Labor Day gatherings. He's joining us live this morning to tell us more about the warning from officials. Taylor?
Well, good morning, Maddie. Whether you're planning on a barbecue or heading to the beach or even going to the Kern County River, as we said, local law enforcement and even public health, well, they're concerned about the risks that could pose. As the temperature soars past 105 this holiday weekend, Kern County residents will no doubt look to beat the heat any way they can. A concern for neighboring counties like San Luis Obispo, who saw a spike in cases after both Memorial Day and the 4th of July.
We did see a small spike after Memorial Day weekend, and we did see a small spike again after July 4th weekend. It's anticipated that we could see a spike again.
Michelle Shoresman understands that Pismo Beach is a staple for those traveling from the Central Valley looking to escape for the unofficial final week of summer. But much like in May when they launched a digital campaign discouraging tourism, she's asking folks to follow the state's guidelines and once again stay home to stop the spread.
Those are still prohibited activities under the most recent version of the state order.
That warning didn't stop hundreds from hopping on Highway 166 during Memorial Day weekend, including Kern County resident Josh Vera, who strongly disagreed with that stance back then.
I think everybody's just trying to have fun. Everybody's tired of being home. I feel like people should just have fun. Like, there's no reason to stop everything you're doing just because of you hear something on the news or like the government says something.
There is still a concern for those staying within county lines. KCSO fears that the 178 will be packed with people making their way to the Kern River, where we've already seen multiple drownings this year.
We encourage people to not go in the river if they don't know how to swim or if they don't have a life jacket.
Zach Biddle, a sergeant with KCSO's search and rescue crew, says they'll be fully staffed for the holiday.
And we do not encourage people to do anything that's going to put themselves in danger, because then our search and rescue volunteers have to be deployed, and they're all volunteers, and they go out and risk their life or somebody who maybe made a poor decision near the river.
So regardless of your plans for the long weekend, these local agencies are just asking you to stay safe. And remember, we're in the midst of a pandemic. Now, it's important to note that San Luis Obispo County did shut down some of their hotels and limit some of the travel during Memorial Day weekend. They're not doing any of that. They're just asking people to please stay home and be responsible this weekend. In Southwest Bakersfield, Taylor Schaub, 17 News.
Yeah, there is definitely going to be a need and a want to get away from this heat, unfortunately.
Yeah, but again, this is something that a lot of health officials are concerned about, especially as we head into the fall season, if you will, the flu season. A lot of health officials are just really concerned about what's going to happen in a couple weeks following Labor Day.
All right.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.